Hello, welcome to part 1 of our Lei Basics Guide. Reminder that this is game version 4.2. This first part we will be focusing on essential moves. In part 2 we'll talk about basic or common game plan elements, which for Lei means really focusing on his stances. Then finally in part 3 we'll go over some referential items like punishers and combos. A quick note that these guides are meant for beginners or those looking for the briefest of overviews on how a character functions. If you're brand new to Tekken and don't understand all of the terminology, jargon, and so forth, we do have a Tekken 7 system basics guide on this channel, which is broken into 6 parts for easier viewing. You can find links to those as well as a couple of other good beginner resources in the video description below. And as always, there's a link to the written version of this guide down there too, should you need it. That's it, so let's talk about Tekken's very own Jackie Chan. Like I already mentioned, we will save stances for part 2, so here in part 1 we're only talking about his neutral moves. However, his stances are essential, so keep that in mind. If you're not sure what to do after a transition from an essential move, go to part 2 once that is uploaded, and try to identify options that would be good for a particular situation like a crush or counter hit tool. Although Lei has a standard 1 and 1-2, he has a couple of non-standard options that tend to be preferable. 1-1 does more damage and gives you the option to go into Snake, which at +6 on hit is nice. 2-1 forward is similar but goes to Drunk instead and is 0 on hit instead of plus frames. 2-1 is still good as a high mid poke string though, with a third hit for additional cover, which is guaranteed if the mid jab hits counter hit. 4 is an I-12 counter hit launcher. Lei's magic 4 juggle is a bit wonky since it's tough to hit on small characters, but still a quick counter hit knockdown. 1+2 is an I-14 high counter hit launcher, -7 and goes back turn, but has 2 follow-ups for cover to make that a little more viable. 1+2 is only +2 on hit, but 1+2-1, which is a natural combo, is +8, albeit a double high. Still a nice quick tool. 3 slide 4 is a slow but ground hitting power mid, +3 on block into back turn unless you hit down, which will take you to play dead, although your play dead follow-ups can be interrupted. Holding down takes you fully grounded, which actually gives you more plus frames, so your get up kicks are uninterruptible. Not a ton of reward either way, but useful to keep them on their toes and perhaps to go back turn with +3. Forward 1+2 is an I-16 high, 2 hits, +4 on block, +9 on hit, solid damage, and can go to Panther. Forward 2 is an I-12 safe mid poke, really nice range, +3 on hit. Forward 2-4 is a natural combo but ends high, so normally reserved for punishing. Forward 4-2 is an I-23 high mid, high crushing counter hit launcher, 0 on block +6 on hit, really strong poke string. You can continue the string from mind games, just be aware that no matter where you stop beyond forward 4-2, there is risk involved. Down forward 1 is an I-13 mid poke, +7 on hit, -4 on block, so not great compared to generics. Down forward 1-1 is mid high, duckable, -9 on block, but also a natural combo. Down forward 1-1-1 ends with a mid knockdown splatter, but largely serves as a check to give you back some initiative on down forward 1-1. Only -10 on block, which isn't terrible. Down forward 2 is an I-15 mid launcher, won't launch crouchers unless counter hit like the generics. What breaks it from a generic down forward 2 is that you can go to Snake with down forward 2 forward. You'll sometimes see this at the wall for mix-ups or if you think someone will duck and want a quick, safer move. Down forward 3 is an I-21 mid homing kick, -10 but with pushback, knockdown splat on hit, nothing fancy but still very useful. Down forward 4 is an I-12 mid poke, +7 on hit, -4 on block, so a bit better than forward 2 there, but has less range. Down forward 1+2 is an I-21 power mid, -7 on block, -4 on hit, unless you go to Tiger with down forward 1+2 forward, which makes it 0 on block, +3 on hit, so going to Tiger is very common. Even on hit, they can stop your Tiger options, but it turns into a defensive mix-up at that point since you have options for whatever button they try to use. Down 2 is an I-18 mid, only -3 on block, +4 on hit, forces crouch regardless. Down 2-2 provides more cover, it's a natural combo on counter hit, delayable and confirmable, so really solid. Down 4 is arguably Lei's best neutral low. Very quick at I-12, only -12 on block, 0 on hit, but that still leaves you plenty of options. Down 4 down takes you to Snake at -1, and although this does mean your Snake options are all interruptible, transitioning again with Sidestep right to Panther is extremely common since it'll go around a lot of quicker options that people may use to stop Snake. Down 4-4 also exists for additional cover, but it's only a combo on counter hit and -15 on block, so be careful with it, although it has some pushback, so some characters can have issues punishing it. Down back 3 is a low poke similar to down 3, but this time a high crush. Again, terrible frames, but rangy and quick. Down back 4-4 is an I-20 knockdown low string, can splat from some ranges, and on clean hit can give a mini combo if you transition to drunk. This is your big but risky low threat from neutral, absolutely essential to scare people with. If you prefer, you have a couple transition options from down back 4, but these don't eliminate the risk of down back 4 getting blocked, and since down back 4-4 will knock down even at tip range, you're foregoing the damage for stance pressure or the mini combo if you think you're close enough. Down back 1+2 is a sway back power mid, knockdown splat on hit, only -12 on block, which is rare for sway back moves, situational but still good. Back 2-4 is a safe mid-high knockdown splatting natural combo, can be ducked on block, but you can either stop at the first hit or even transition to dragon with back 2 forward. Back 2-4 can also be delayed, and if the second hit connects counter hit, you get a tailspin combo, so lots of timing games you can play with this. Back 2 also has a tendency to go under highs. Back 4 back is an I-23 low, +5 going into back turn, chunky second hit for cover if you need it, but a nice little tool to get you to back turn with plus frames. Back 1+2 is a backswing power mid, extremely safe at -2, +6 on hit and gives a butt stun on counter hit, a little slow but still very good. Up 4-3 is an I-16 low crushing mid, similar to a hop kick but only launches on counter hit and automatically goes into crane. Up 4 is an actual hop kick, I-15 mid launcher, -13 on block. Lays has very bad range though, so not as useful as most. Up 4 3+4 is a very safe I-33 mid low crushing launcher, excellent range as well, basically a really slow orbital, leaves you in back turn, which at -1 is fine to run back turn games with. Again, the issue is just speed. 4 neutral 1 is the classic Razor Rush string, his best string really. The first 2 hits are mid-mid natural combo, but he can do up to 4 punches and end with a kick, or he can transition out at every point in the string to one of his stances. Nearly every hit is delayable, and 4 neutral 1-2-1-2 is a natural combo on counter hit. Each hit is slightly different in terms of block hit frames, so it's just insane the kinds of timing games you can play with this. 4 neutral 3 is an I-17 knockdown splatting high, +5 on block, recovers back turn for mix-ups, although you'll have to scoot forward a little to get in range if it hits. 4 neutral 4 is very similar to his Razor Rush, but with an I-10 high kick to start the string instead. 4 neutral 4-1-2 is a natural combo for really chunky damage and only -10 on block. 4 neutral 4-1-2-3 is a natural combo on counter hit and will knock down splat for absolutely crazy damage. On block you have a 5th hit, mid-low mix-up option 2. 4 neutral 4-1-2-3 does end high, so either confirm if you got a counter hit on 4 neutral 4 or use 4 neutral 4-1-2-2, which ends mid. 4 neutral 4-1-2-2-2 ends with essentially the same hits as the Snake 2 string, which we'll talk about later, but you have lots of string madness you can do with this string. Forward 4-2 is an I-18 mid power crush, -12 on block, +7 on hit, will tailspin if it hits airborne. Not the greatest power crush, but he's very limited in his armor moves from neutral, so it's noteworthy in that regard. Forward 4-3 is an I-17 mid launcher, can recover back turn with forward 4-3 back. We normally don't mention whiff punishers here, but it's so good it deserves a mention. Always have this locked and loaded. Note that this is also his running 3, which is important for juggles. Sidestep 1 is a quick, safe, chunky high, +6 on hit, but has a few transition options which yield even more frames. Even on block, you'll still have some counter options in your stances depending on how they respond. Sidestep 4 is a safe I-21 mid launcher, really good in close range situations where you can mix between this and down back 4. Since you have a bunch of things that can end in full crouch, it's worth noting a few full crouch while standing moves. While standing 3 is an incredibly chunky mid at I-10. Only a couple characters have legit 10 frame full crouch while standing punishes, and he's one of them. Very risky, but always useful for whiff punishes. While standing 2-1 and while standing 4 are both quick, safe mids. Full crouch down forward 2-1 is a double low string, not a natural combo, so its utility is limited, but you can still be annoying with it, and it has a 3rd hit for cover. Although we're saving stance talk for part 2, a quick mention about Lei's rage drives. He has a total of 5, which are all performed from stances. They all also have the same input, which is 1 plus 4, so easy to remember there. The dragon and snake rage drives are probably most common since they act like Paul's blue death fist, so they're really quick, give big plus frames on block, can wall shove, and will knock down splat on hit. The tiger rage drive is another big plus on block power mid, but this time leaving them in crouch right in front of you, launch on hit, ground stun if it hits airborne or grounded, so you'll see it most often at the wall to get that extra damage. Panther rage drive is just a better version of the hell sweep in that it launches on regular hit and is safer on block since it jails. Lastly, the crane rage drive is fairly mediocre. It's simply a safe version of the hop kick, but crane isn't exactly a pressure stance, so it's incredibly situational. This brings us to the end of part 1. We hope this list helps you focus on Lei's most important neutral moves. In part 2, we'll jump into the stances and try to help a little in putting it all together. Expect that here in a couple of days. And with that, thank you for checking out this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe here on YouTube. Also be sure to turn on notifications if you'd like to get alerted as soon as a new vid is uploaded. I also try to stream whenever I can, so the link to Twitch is down in the video description below. You will find Twitter and Facebook links down there too. Lastly, special thanks to our 3 patrons, Tato, Apples, and Overhaul. That support means a lot. Patreon is definitely the best way to support your favorite content creators, and the more support the channel gets, the more content I can afford to do. Stay safe everyone, and we'll see you next time.